Great. Well, welcome everybody. I'd like to go ahead and call the Enforcement Investigations and Intervention Committee meeting to order. My name is Patricia Wynn. I go by Tricia. I was appointed by Governor Newsom in a public member role. We're going to take roll calls. So Committee Member Lawler.
Good afternoon. I'm David Lawler, appointed by Governor Newsom to a public member role.
And welcome, Committee Member Cormack.
Good afternoon. My name is Allison Cormack. I was appointed by the Speaker of the Assembly in a public member role.
Great. And Committee Member Nair.
She's not showing up in the attendees yet.
She's not with us yet, but we'll acknowledge her when she gets here. Okay, so Executive Officer Loretta Melby.
Thank you. Executive Officer Loretta Melby, or Lori, and was appointed by the board.
And our Chief Counsel, Reza Pejhash.
Good afternoon. This is Reza, BRN Legal Counsel.
Great. And then Staff Liaison Shannon Johnson.
We do not have Staff Liaison Shannon Johnson at this point. We have Tim Bunter that is stepping in and filling her shoes.
Great. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Tim. Thanks for joining us. So at this point, because we're on a Zoom, I'm going to turn this item number 2 over to our board moderator for general instructions for the format of a teleconference meeting.
Good afternoon. This is the BRN moderator. I will be moderating this meeting. To facilitate public comment, we will be utilizing the WebEx question and answer feature, now known as Slido. When the committee reaches the point in the agenda at which public comment is appropriate, the question and answer feature will be turned on and members of the public can indicate that they would like to make a comment by inserting the phrase, "I would like to make a comment," in the question box, which is typically in the lower right of your screen. I will then call on the individual and send the request to unmute their microphone. The individual should be able to unmute and make their comments. It's a little window. It'll pop up. It'll say unmute me, and you only have to press it once. It's not a double click. I will then proceed to the next member of the public who has a comment. I will also query our on-site location for comments as well. Please note that the question and answer feature is being used only as a means for members of the public to represent that they would like to make a verbal comment. When your turn comes, you will be prompted to unmute. If your question can be answered, the committee will respond accordingly. When making your comment, speak about anything you believe is important for the members to know. Please remember, committee members cannot address any items not on the agenda, items not on the agenda at that moment, items that you would like to add to a future meeting, or items that will be discussed later on in the agenda will be discussed at their correct times during the meeting. I will provide a brief reminder of this approach at the start of each public comment item. Finally, when the committee members or BRN staff are not speaking, I would like to remind them to mute their microphone. If I detect background noise during the meeting as a result of unmuted microphones, I will mute your microphone automatically.
Thank you very much, board moderator. So we'll go directly to item number 3.0, which is public comment for items not on the agenda.
We will be opening for public comment now. I will be activating the question and answer feature. Please refer to the screen share for members of the public to see how they should type in their request for comment. And I blew it because I should have stopped the, oh, I did stop it. No, I didn't. Sorry. I've activated the question and answer feature. Members of the public can indicate that they would like to make a comment by typing into the question box, "I would like to make a comment." I'll pause for a moment for members of the public to type in, "I would like to make a comment."
Board moderator, I did receive a public comment request in my email today. And they were unsure about whether or not they would be able to be in attendance for this committee. So if they do not pop in, I will read the public comment to start this off.
Hillary Field would like to make a comment. 1 second, please.
Hi. Hello?
Welcome.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Um, my name is Hillary Fields. I have been a RN BSN for about 10 years this year. In 2018, I was reported to the Board of Nursing for documentation and medication errors. As of September 2025, I was granted an early release from my probation. I am presenting today in front of the committee and the board, respectfully requesting that the board consider shortening the document retention period on my license. I have been an upstanding nurse to the state of California and to the Linwood community. I am a charge nurse, a preceptor. I teach documentation education to new grad nurses so that they don't make the same mistakes as I have. Although I understand that hardship is a result of disciplinary action, I have experienced extreme hardship due to my probation, and I am finding it difficult to seek advancements within my career due to the mark on my license. I fully respect and understand how important it is to ensure full compliance with the Business and Professional Code Section 2708.1, and I do not wish to challenge the board on that policy. I am asking that the committee and the board decrease my document retention period that includes the final decision upholding the citation and fine involving unlicensed individual, which shows indefinitely, the final decision resulting in probation, which results in 10 years, final decision resulting in probation, 10 years, final decision resulting in license revocation or surrender 10 indefinitely, and final decision, comma, other, which is 10 years. I respect the board's decision regarding this matter, and I close the floor.
Thank you for your comment. Becca Hoden would like to make a comment. 1 second, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rebecca Hoden, and I'm so honored to serve the BRN as an expert practice consultant in the areas of hospice and palliative care, geriatrics, and long-term care skilled nursing practice. Since I moved to California almost 9 years ago, expert practice consultant rates have remained unchanged without adjustments to reflect compensation trends or cost of living. As adjunct faculty at Los Medanos College, I support RN students in their transition to nursing practice. I'm aware that many of my students entering practice obtain higher hourly rates than BRN expert practice consultants. Given the crucial and ongoing needs for skilled expert practice consultants in multiple specialties, I respectfully encourage the board to begin the process of analyzing and adjusting hourly rates for expert practice consultants in California to reflect the expertise, board certifications, and experience of EPCs. Thank you very much for your consideration, and thank you all for the ongoing work that you're doing.
Thank you for your comment. Committee Chair Nguyen, there are no other public requests for comments on the WebEx. I am told that we have no in-person representation in BRNHQ. Would you like me to close this window?
Yes, I would, but I do want to just defer to Lori because you have a public, can we close the public comment and then you would make your comment?
Actually, one of the speakers was one of the public comments that I received, so I do not have to read their public comment. So appreciate that. Thank you.
Great. Yes, please, board moderator, please close this comment. Okay. So we will go ahead and move to item number 4.0, which is a review and votes on whether to approve the previous meeting minutes. So this is the meeting of October 21st, 2025. Any comments or questions from board members? What's the pleasure?
No, I move to approve the previous meeting minutes from October 21, 2025.
Cormac, second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Thank you both very much. We'll go out to public comment on this item before we vote. Board moderator?
We will be opening for public comment now. I will be activating the question and answer feature. Please refer to the screen share for members of the public to see how they should type in their request for comment. I've activated the question and answer feature. Members of the public can indicate they would like to make a comment by typing into the question box, "I would like to make a comment." I'll pause for a moment for members of the public to type in, "I would like to make a comment." Committee Chair Nguyen, there are no public requests for comments on the WebEx. We have no in-person representation in BRNHQ. Would you like me to close this window?
Yes, please, and thank you very much. So we'll go ahead and take roll on the motion to approve the previous meeting minutes. Chair Nguyen votes aye. Committee Member Lawler
Lawler, yes.
and Committee Member Cormac.
Cormac, yes.
Great, that passes. So we'll move to item number 5.0, which is an information only item, and it's the Enforcement Division update. And Lori, Tim will be presenting on this. Great. Hi, welcome,
Yes.
Tim.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tim Bunger, and I am the Deputy Chief of Discipline, Citations, and Probation here at the board. With Shannon out, you get to hear my voice for a little bit of a change in pace. So first with item 5.0, the Enforcement Division update. We continue to be a part of the NCSBN, or National Council of State Boards of Nursing, Substance Abuse Disorder Monitoring Program study. That study goes through the end of 2027, so as kind of become a standard item, but we always like to mention it. A continued update on from a May 29, 2025 board meeting, the board had voted to allow for oral fluid testing for probationers. Through the ensuing discussions following that, we did learn that currently under our contract that oral fluid is not included, so therefore we can't start it. However, our current contract with them expires in the end of June, the end of the fiscal year, and the plan is with the renewal to get that included. The other big update on our testing vendor information is that as of January 2026, we were notified by Vault that was previously a First Advantage company that they have been sold and acquired by Affinity Health Group. This is very much in the early stages that will keep you all posted with how that transition goes. But it is sounding promising, as Affinity does seem to have a lot to offer that will just kind of expand what Vault will be able to provide to us. So should be a good benefit for us. As always, we are looking for experts in the areas of long-term care, skilled nursing facilities and geriatric, dialysis, corrections, specifically nurse practitioner furnishing, hospice, advice nurses, urgent care, PACU, recovery room, and then operating room, ambulatory clinic for nurse practitioner furnishing. For discipline unit, one of the numbers I wanted to highlight was that as of January 2026, 19% of our cases have been pending at the AG for over a year. That is obviously a little bit higher than we would like to see. So we are continuing to look at cases and see if there's ways that we can get that number down, as I would like to see it closer to the 5 to 8% range. And not for any fault of the cases, just sometimes they take a little bit longer to get through the process. The big highlight that I've been super excited to bring forward today is that the probation frequently asked questions document has been officially approved and posted to our website. So that's now available for all of our probationers, all of our people in the discipline pipeline that want to know more about what probation will look like. And that is now on our website. Going into the data tables, one thing I wanted to highlight was from table A on page 20 of your packet. where as of January 20th of this year, we've received 3,361 complaints, which is a little bit higher than kind of historical trends. Reason for that is we've been receiving numerous viral complaints over the past few months. What that is it's based on one incident, but we get 10, 15, 30, 50, hundreds of cases on that same incident. We're currently looking at best practices for how best to manage that volume with other DCA boards and the NCSBN. The good news is NCSBN responded to me this morning that they have not heard of this issue on the grander nationwide scale. However, they are going to include it in our next Discipline Knowledge Network call, which is scheduled for March. So we'll be able to bring that topic forward and kind of have an open conversation with all boards of nursing to see if and how they handle these when they kind of get that high volume and just having to kind of work through that process. On table B for citations, the number for the current fiscal year date is highly inflated compared to last fiscal year. The reason for that is we now have a full-time citation analyst that was brought in at the tail end of last fiscal year. And with that vacancy, we're catching up on cases that had been sitting, awaiting a citation to be issued, getting through our CE continuing education audits for non-compliance. And that's either for just no response to the CE audit or did not provide the required CE information once requested. And I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
Thank you very much, Mr. Buncher. That was very helpful. I'd like to open it up to questions from committee members.
I do have some
Well,
additional information real quick that we can add. On the continuing education, we are working together as a BRN team, looking at allowing for that data to be uploaded directly into Breeze on renewal. And then that way we can just audit the Breeze records versus having to have a reach out specifically to the licensee. It could also serve as a storage. So we're looking at an update to that. Also, in regards to the viral complaints, we have reached out to DCA and we are looking at trying to find an overall fix for DCA on how we can mass open all of those complaints. We have in the past received up to 3,000 complaints on a single RN based on a social media outreach. We do have to acknowledge and send out a acknowledgement to every single person that submits those complaints. That is hugely time consuming to our employees. And when that happens, that takes away from some other complaints that could come in. And so we are looking at an IT fix for that so that they can assist us with that process so that the other complaints do not get delayed as well when we get a viral complaint. So those are two things that I did want to update on that we are continuing to work with.
Thank you, Lori. I did have one question. You said you were looking for experts on, and you listed a number of
Correct.
areas. So when we had a public comment about the low rate of reimbursement for that kind of work, is that hampering, are you finding that that's hampering your ability to recruit in those areas?
Not to my knowledge of it being a direct causation, but obviously we are aware that we don't pay as much as they can make on, a normal salary job. I know a number of years ago we were able to increase it. I'm not sure we've talked about it anytime recently, but it is something that we're aware of and can be a hindrance to getting some experts just because our pay rate's a little lower than expectation.
Our pay rate is public. It is on our website. For RNs, it's $75 an hour. For advanced practice RNs, it's $125 an hour. For psychologists, it's $150, and physicians, $175 an hour. Those are there and available, and it is also not full-time work. So they are required as being an expert to be current in their practice. And so this is a supplemental position for them, and it is based on an hourly review of the case that is presented to them.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Any other questions or comments from committee members? Okay, then we'll go ahead and open this item up for public comment. Board moderator, would you please take us there?
We will be opening for public comment now. Please refer to the screen share for members of the public to see how they should type in their request for comment. I've activated the question and answer feature. Members of the public can indicate that they would like to make a comment by typing in the question box, "I would like to make a comment." I'll pause for a moment for members of the public to type in their request. Committee Chair Nguyen, there are no public requests for comments on the WebEx. We have no in-person representation in BRN HQ. Would you like me to close this window?
Yes, please. Thanks very much. So that concludes item number 5.0. We'll go ahead and move to item number 6.0. Again, information only, investigations division updates. Tim, you doing that again?
I can, but I believe Nicole was
Oh, Nicole,
also
okay.
on to give that update.
Yes, I am.
Great, thanks, Nicole.
No problem. Hello, good afternoon. My name is Nicole Bowles. I am the Deputy Chief of Investigations here at the Board of Registered Nursing, and I will be providing the Investigations Division update. So for some general information, we continue to work with the Office of Improvement to map our workflow and timeframes to streamline and improve our processes. The last time we met, I believe I reported that we had 20 maps completed. We are still at 20 maps completed, but as of December 23rd, we worked with OIO to begin facilitating 2 workshops a week to try and get through these mappings quicker. We took into consideration the number of SMEs that we have subject matter experts, SMEs for short, into consideration when we agreed to do 2 mapping sessions per week to try and assist with the overlap. Our special investigators and a supervising special investigator participate in these mapping sessions. So it's a very heavy lift, and we don't want to have the same subject matter experts in the mapping sessions twice a week. I have been busting at the seams, and Lori will tell you to share that in 2025, the board submitted a budget change proposal through the Department of Consumer Affairs to the Department of Finance, requesting 8 additional special investigator positions. On January 9th, 2026, the governor released the proposed 2026-27 governor's budget, which includes the board's request. This by no means means that we have the positions yet. This proposed budget now goes through the California legislature for review. And then when we get into May, the May revise will occur, and we'll see an updated version of the budget, which will reflect the latest economic data. After the May revision, the legislature will negotiate and make adjustments. Once approved, the governor can sign the budget, make changes to specific items, or return it with recommendations. And the final budget must be in place by July 1st, the start of the new fiscal year. So, Lori, I wasn't sure if you wanted to comment further on the budget change proposal at this point in time, or if you'd like me to continue.
We plan to have all duty statements ready to be posted July 1 so that we can get recruiting.
Yes, good.
Yeah,
So we really hope that they see our need, support our need, and that we continue to have it. There will be hearings that we will have to attend. I will represent BRN during those hearings, and I will plead our case as well as I can, so that they can see that we desperately need these 8 SIs. The one thing is when, and I'm going to speak positively out into the universe that this is going to happen. So when this is approved and we post July 1, we will have to go through recruitment and an interviewing and then hiring and then training and onboarding and all that kind of stuff. So we will not see a decrease in our caseloads. We will not see a decrease in the backlog for a while. But we are moving in the right direction, and we are incredibly hopeful that we will be approved for these positions and will move forward.
Great. If there's anything that board members can do to help with that, I hope that you will let us know.
Pray. I mean, I don't know what else to say, but please. We need them.
I'm very optimistic too, Lori. So just keep putting the good thoughts into the universe. So I do hope that we get these positions. Fingers are crossed. And I know Lori's going to go to bat for the investigations division and BRN as a whole. So thank you. So just to continue on with the investigations update. So
Nicole,
in
may
June,
I interrupt you for one moment?
yes,
Have
of
we
course.
done a budget change proposal for investigators before?
We are
I
not
believe
able
we
to
have
talk
in the
about prior
past.
budget change. We're not able to talk about prior budget
Okay,
change.
okay,
proposals. We're only
okay.
able to speak about what is picked up in the governor's budget. And so there was a large position authority given to us back in, I believe, 2017. And so we did have an overall BRN increase, and then we did let the board noticed the board as well that last year we did have a position sweep where we did lose 19 positions. And so currently we are requesting for 8 positions back in order to get these SIs hired.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lori. Let me see. I lost my place. Here we go. So on June 10th, 2025, investigations launched the enhanced triage and preliminary case work pilot. We touched on this at the last board meeting, and this pilot is set to conclude this month, actually. So I'm hoping at March's board meeting, I'll have some data and some information to present to you guys about how that's gone and then how we will be moving forward in the future. On December 10th, 2025, board staff, under the request of the executive officer, resumed having the nursing education specialist review complaints to check for scope of practice violations. This helps sort cases and recommend next steps. The process will be monitored for efficiency and unintended consequences. As of January 3rd, 2025, the full-time special investigators have an average of 29 active cases. And then due to the continued high caseloads and supervising special investigators, and I continue to actively work cases. We continue to identify and explore multiple options to address the high caseload, and we are currently recruiting for 1 full-time special investigator in the Southern region. And then on page 2, we also have table A for investigations, which displays BRN cases referred, cases pending, and cases completed, as well as the Division of Investigations cases referred, pending, and completed as well. And at this point, I will take any questions if anyone has any.
Thank you very much. Yeah, go ahead, Committee Member Cormack.
Thanks so much. I just wanted to connect, table G and the prior one where the investigation time is actually finally ticking down just a tad, which is great, with the fact that all of the cases pending is up and to the right on both the table on page 34 and the graph on page 35. So that all connects back to the request for the SI, but, looks like staff is managing still, even in the face of this increased number of complaints, to reduce the investigation time. So that's a real inflection point, and I know we've been watching it for a while. So just wanted to flag that.
Thank you very much for that. Yeah. Any other questions? Great. Okay. Thanks very much, Ms. Bowles. I sure appreciate that report. Board moderator, would you please take us out to public comment on this item?
We will be opening for public comment now. Please refer to the screen share for members of the public to see how they should type in their request for comment. I've activated the question and answer feature. Members of the public can indicate they would like to make a comment by typing in the question box, "I would like to make a comment." I'll pause for a moment for members of the public to type in their request for comment. Committee Chair Wynn, there are no public requests for comments on the WebEx. We have no in-person representation in BRNHQ. Would you like me to close this window?
Yes, please, and thank you very much. Okay, again, that was information only, so we don't need a motion. We'll go ahead and move to item number 7.0. Again, another information only item, intervention program updates.
Hello again, Tim Buncher, Deputy Chief of Discipline, Citations, and Probation here at the board. I, of course, have to start with my standard disclaimer that although I am presenting today's intervention program update on Shannon's behalf, since my role is on the enforcement side, I am not directly involved with the function of our intervention program or its participants. That said, I'll be your spokesperson for today, and will do my best to answer any and all questions you have after reviewing the highlights. So first and foremost, starting in August of 2025 to current, pursuant to the board's August 2024 motion, the EO is continuing to provide ongoing education covering various topics to each Intervention Evaluation Committee or IEC. The current training for those is on intervention program participants whose competency has been affected by a mental health condition and has been delivered to one of the 9 IECs. Historically, the IECs have met for 4 times per year. In order to provide more support to the participants, the board staff requested, and the IEC did increase their frequency to 6 meetings per year. And this request was brought to each IEC and schedules were considered and voted on. Beginning this year, IECs are scheduled to meet 6 times per year, and there are currently 5 vacancies with 1 physician member and 4 RNs. The board is continuing to recruit IEC members with knowledge and experience in substance use disorder treatment, recovery, and mental health. Board staff is currently working with our subcommittee for upcoming interviews, and the goal is to have some potential candidates brought forward for consideration at next month's board meeting. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Any questions from committee members? Okay, hearing none, we'll take it to public comment. Board moderator, would you please open public comment for us?
We will be opening for public comment now. Please refer to the screen share for members of the public to see how they should type in their request for comment. I've activated the question and answer feature. Members of the public can indicate that they would like to make a comment by typing in the question box, "I would like to make a comment." I'll pause for a moment for members of the public to type in their request for comment. Committee Chair Wynn, there are no public requests for comments on the WebEx. We have no in-person representation in BRNHQ. Would you like me to close this window?
Yes, please, and thank you. Thanks very much, Mr. Buncher, for that report. I appreciate it. We'll move to item number 8.0, again, information only. Presentation by the executive officer on education provided to the intervention evaluation committees and report out on any feedback received from board staff, board vendor, and stakeholders. Lori, take it away.
Thank you. So a different type of report out now that I'm not doing the audits of each one of these. And so one of the things that we've seen as a really great benefit is the education that we're now providing out at the beginning of every single EIC meeting. And so in order to reach all of them, we would have had to have one large meeting, and we would have had to have quorum from every one of our 9 IECs, which would have been very, very difficult to do. So instead, we pivoted and we decided that I would come into each one of the open sessions before they would go into closed session and provide education. So the first one that we did was on our August 24th board motion, where we asked them to immediately remove the imposition that they must be direct patient care and that they must have access to narcotics in order to complete the program. That went over very well. No questions, no comments. They'd already been implementing that. So it was just kind of a reiteration of that and just answered a couple questions. Initially, I think it was not a shock of the materials, but just a shock that I was showing up and providing the education. And so that has now updated and changed. We also changed our process where just like the rest of our advisory committees and our board meetings, we do save those on our website and allow for WebEx. And so we have materials. We actually have the ability to go in and view the open session recordings of that as well. So we are in alignment with the way that we had been doing the rest of our advisory committees, as well as our board committees and our board meetings. One thing just to note for future is that in our sunset report, we did ask to have our IEC pulled out of Bagley Clean, or at least considered an advisory to our board, so that we would not have to do in-person locations. Currently, we're still doing in-person locations in North and South. And we have staff traveling, and we've got our committee members traveling in too. So it does cause quite a commitment for our committee members, and they don't have the ability to join remotely like you guys do for these committees. So that is a issue, and we're hoping to get that addressed. The next topic that we covered was conditional recommendations. And so what that looks like is we have requirements in the uniform standards that in order to go to full-time work, you must work first in a part-time capacity. You must have 2 positive worksite monitor reviews, and you must have maintained sobriety for a specific length of time. What had previously been occurring is you would go in front of your IEC and they would say, yes, you can go to part-time work. And then you'd have to wait, even after those conditions of uniform standards were met, you would have to wait and come back in front of IEC to then get allowed to move to full-time. That could cause a delay in them moving into a full-time role. And so what the IECs have been educated on is they could make a conditional recommendation, and that conditional recommendation could be where they return them to part-time work, and as soon as they have met the sobriety length, as well as the 2 positive worksite monitors, that with working with the CCM and the program manager, Jaspreet, that they can then be moved to full-time. Conditions would be met according to the uniform standards, and they would be able to advance forward. They would then report back any activity that was done, either not allowing them to advance or allowing them to advance back to the IEC, and allow for any additional comments or work with that. So that seems to be going very well. Each one of the committees thanked us for that flexibility. And we've actually seen a small decrease in numbers of people needing to come urgently back to our IECs to be able to move forward. And so that is incredibly helpful so far. We're continuing to monitor that. The next topic that I am working on right now, getting the education out, and when the meeting materials were posted, it was 1. I have now gone into an additional one to talk about, and that's the mental health only participant. The uniform standards are written towards a substance use, the person with a substance use disorder, and it is not specific to a person with mental health only. Now, we do understand that mental health only is rarity, and that usually we do see people with a dual diagnosis. And then, of course, they would have to follow the uniform standards. So we are allowing for greater flexibility for the mental health only, really allowing the committee members to use their professional opinions. They can utilize the uniform standards in any capacity that they choose to, but they could also vary from the uniform standards as long as there's evidence to support that. And that seems to be very positive. The goal, again, is to get people back to work as soon as possible, while also looking out for the safety of the public that allows them to do that. And that segues into the very next topic. So the first thing on here. It says topic for future discussions in education would be failure to derive benefit. That is being kicked down the line a little bit further, and on request from the committees as well as various stakeholders, they're asking me to change that topic and do that one next to follow. But the topic they're asking for now is to have further guidance on worksite monitor options. In uniform standards right now, it says that they can do it as per the board, but at minimum, a worksite monitor check-in on a weekly basis. We have a very strong standing worksite monitor process within our probation side that talks about minimum, moderate, and maximum. And then we also recently updated with a regulatory package that's out for comment right now to address the independent practitioners, or our APRNs. And so I wanted to, I'm going to go into those future IEC meetings, and we're going to provide some guidance on what truly, how worksite monitors can be utilized to protect the public and allow the participant to return to work sooner, with the hope that it will allow them to participate more fully in the program and be able to just return to work and start feeling better about where they're at in their life at this point. And so really kind of looking at the program, the moving them through the program, allowing us to monitor them while they are at work, and ensuring that the patient's safety and the community safety is maintained. And so that will supersede that next planned education, and that education then will to follow the work site. I am receiving good feedback so far, and asking for, as you can see, an additional item to be placed in there. So I don't think that we're going to run into a lack of items to provide education and direction on, and we seem to really be getting some really good interaction from the committees, and hope for that to continue. Any other questions? Our data is down on page 43 and 44, but there is nothing that seems to be outstanding or of alarm.
Thank you very much, E.O. Melby. That's helpful information. It does sound like they're kind of hungry. The IEC members are kind of hungry for this education component. That's nice.
Yeah, they're really, the feedback we're receiving so far has been really positive, minus of course the initial outreach, I think, with the shock of me coming in to a committee. But once that has subsided, they seem to be pretty receptive.
That's great. Great. Any questions from other committee members? Great.
Not a
Okay.
question, but I just want to say quickly, I mean, this is very encouraging. Great step in the right direction. So thank you for the report, and very hopeful how this is now improving from where it's been. Thank you.
Yeah, I agree.
you.
Thank you. Yeah. So we'll go ahead and take this to public comment. Board moderator, would you please open us up for public comment?
We will be opening for public comment now. Please refer to the screen share for members of the public to see how they should type in their request for comment. I've activated the question and answer feature. Members of the public can indicate they would like to make a comment by typing in the question box, "I would like to make a comment." I'll pause for a moment for members of the public to type in, "I would like to make a comment." Committee Chair Nguyen, there are no public requests for comments on the WebEx. We have no in-person representation in BRNHQ. Would you like me to close this window?
Yes, please. And thank you very much. Great. Lori, anything further on that item? Good. Okay, we're going to go
Yep.
to item number 9.0. This is a discussion and possible action relating to the future roles and responsibilities of the EIIC committee.
Thank
Lori,
you. So
take
this
it over.
was,
Thank you.
appreciate it. Sorry, jumping the gun, just trying to get done by 5. I think we'll do it. It's been a long day.
Yes.
So this is the same agenda item that we had on nurse practice. We will have this agenda item in Ledge for the full board meeting to have this conversation. But what this is currently in Education Licensing Committee, we do the work of the committee, and then it is brought over to the board as information only, essentially. It goes through as a consent agenda item. All the materials are not updated. They're brought forward. You're able to have a document that says this is what the committee did, this is who voted, and this is what happened. And we put in links so that you can watch the committee meeting if you have any questions. And then the board makes a motion that basically says, I accept the recommendations from the ELC. And then we move forward, and it's really efficient in the board to allow for that to occur. However, we're not doing that in any of our other committees. So like the data and stuff that we would do today in EIIC, all of this information only stuff, we would, and we will, because this has not gone to board yet. So we're going to copy and paste and repeat this exact process next month at our board meeting. What we're asking of the committee is to consider that we do an either or. On all of these information items, they can either come to committee and then go as information only, and we do not have a discussion around them or reopen it back up, that the board can listen to this information based on viewing the recording and the data. And then if there is an item where we are asking the committee to make a recommendation to the board, they could. An example would be if we had appointments, we could have the EIIC say, I recommend appointing these members to EIIC. And then when we go to board, the board can make the motion that says, I accept the recommendations of EIIC, and we close it out and we move forward. You do have the ability as a board to open anything up if you want to and have additional conversation, but that's not necessary. If you guys feel that that is something that you would like to do moving forward, we can do the work of the committee. We can do information here at the committee and then move it to the full board as just kind of an FYI, unless the board wants to pull something out. That is what we do with ELC. And that is something that our staff would like to see happen here, because right now it's a mad dash to go from here to our posting deadline in 2 weeks of grabbing new data, getting all these updated and getting them over to the board. It's a very difficult process. And the data doesn't change much in a month, where it does change in 3 months. So if that's something that you would like to do, we would love for you guys to consider that. The other option is anything that is not actionable, that is information only, that we would report out in committee, and we would save that all for the board. Additionally, if there was, we can do vice versa, anything that is actionable, like where you want the board to accept the recommendations, we could just bring that to board. There are many different options. What we would like to do is align our committees as much as possible. Our board staff is requesting that we prepare everything for committee, and committee makes a recommendation, and in board, you guys are able to accept the recommendations of the committee that is focused on this information, unless you guys have additional concerns or comments to pull it out. And then we can move towards more presentation-like stuff in board meetings, as well as focus on your closed session materials and stuff that have to be done as a full board. Up to you guys for discussion and question and answers.
Yeah, I mean, I'll start by just saying, I think it's a great idea. I really do. I sit on both committees, ELC and EIIC. Certainly there's a lot more kind of controversy in ELC, and those things do get, pulled off and discussed. And I think it helps to have the whole board aware of what some of the controversies are. Certainly, this committee has had its share of controversy. We worked through it, and with the help of the board, we've worked through it. And now we have a committee like today, and it's information only, information only, information only. My only concern is that, that some of this stuff just will not be really heard by the board, because sometimes, you're rushed getting to, read your documents, and you see the consent calendar and you go, okay, that's the consent calendar. I don't really have to pay attention. And I mean, it does help to have a board that is really kind of fully informed. So that doesn't mean that I wouldn't support a motion to do this. It's just something that it, kind of is in the back of my mind. How about other committee members? Yeah, go ahead, committee member Lawler.
I agree. This is a great idea. I think the level of efficiency will absolutely change. Um, I think the work in the committee should be done in the committee for the most
Mhm.
part and not the board. However, to address Trish's concern about something being buried and not brought up, we are lucky in that our committees are not made up of different members. We are the board. So if there is an issue that I want to bring up, I won't let it stay buried in my committee. I might not know about other committees,
Mhm.
but I will trust those board members will
Mhm.
pull those out, as it were, and let that happen. This seems like a good step towards streamlining our system to be much more efficient, and I highly agree with it.
Great, go ahead. Committee Member Cormack?
Thank you, Chair Wynn. So let me just test my understanding here. So, you know, we had this packet, we had 3 information only things where we have the 3 departments separated. That will be in our board packet, but there will be no presentation.
Correct,
Okay.
but there will be a link to this presentation. And so anybody at the board that would want to hear what Nicole, myself, Tim, any discussions around that you guys had, they would be able to watch it, as
Okay.
well as any of our public would be able to watch it. It would directly link back to this.
Okay. So I agree with my fellow committee members that, you know, doing the work in the committee makes sense, and I agree with that. I will say, if you are not on this committee, if I were not on this committee, I would appreciate when this topic comes up and it says, here's the consent thing, blah, blah, blah. Perhaps our chair can say,
Mhm.
you know, there were 3 things that we talked about and we complimented these people and we wondered about this. Like super short, not just a handoff to staff, but also not, an hour-long video and a 35-page report. I think there's something that is just like, would be reassuring to other members of the board, like nothing to see here, right? And not just like staff saying like, hey, so anyway, that is the way that I've seen it work the best, where we can rely on the chairs of the other committees to do the same. Hey, we met, all the information is there if you want to look at it. Here are 3 takeaways. You know, good, bad, and different. That's the only slight modification I would suggest, and it certainly doesn't need to be in a motion, but it's something that I think would aid our cross understanding on these topics.
And might give some comfort to other committee members or other members who are not on those committees about kind of the
Yeah.
flavor and like the temperature of some of the issues.
Yeah. Okay, that's where I am.
I
Do we
love
need
that,
a
Trish.
motion?
That's on you. Yeah, absolutely. Trish, you're the chair, so you'll be doing that at the board meeting.
That's absolutely
If she
fine.
chooses to.
Again,
So-
if our board votes on this, so what you're getting right now is you guys will make a recommendation to our board. And so what I would ask you guys to do is the motion would be something like, we make a recommendation to our board that the committee would do the committee work, that we would provide the outcomes of the committee work directly to the board as an information only item. They can choose to accept the recommendations from the committee, or they can choose to pull it out for further discussion as warranted. And if that's something that you guys would like you to do, I would love you to say so moved.
So
And if that
moved.
is great, so
Second.
we got so moved from Trisha and David's a second. Great. So let's go out to public comment. Fantastic.
We will be opening for public comment now. Please refer to the screen share for members of the public to see how they should type in their request for comment. I've activated the question and answer feature. Members of the public can indicate they would like to make a comment by typing into the question box, I would like to make a comment. I'll pause for a moment for members of the public to type in, I would like to make a comment.
This is Reza. While we wait, I'll just jump in. So I made a comment during the other committee meeting that took place earlier today, just kind of affirming that this would go forward to the board, and the board would say, okay, these committees have recommended doing it in that way. And then you could have a more full discussion. And I think at that time, that's kind of where you might really kind of hone in and refine the parameters of what you want, being done in committee, being done to the full board, and all that. So
Thank you, Reza. That's helpful.
Bay Area RN would like to make a comment. 1 second, please. Bay Area RN, there's a small pop-up that usually hides behind anything that you have open or everything that you have open, and it will say unmute yourself, and you would click one time on the unmute me button.
It looks like they might be on a cell phone, so it might be that star.
No,
Seven
they're not on
or-
no, they're not on a cell phone. No,
Okay.
no. Sometimes people just their computers don't have a microphone.
Mm.
Okay, so if you cannot unmute yourself, if you would like to type in your comment, we will read it.
Or is it just that single one?
Why they type that in? Is there any other request for comment?
Nope, just that one.
Just this one. Okay.
So there are no other requests for comments on the WebEx. We have no in-person representation in BRN HQ. So other than waiting for this comment to be typed in,
What is the sequence to get off mute for a cell phone? Is it star
uh,
7?
star 60, or is it star or pound 69? It's
Pound 69 or star 69? Okay.
yeah. We've had what, 4 today who couldn't unmute themselves.
And many more that were able to unmute.
Yes,
So that we're
yes.
still in a positive direction here.
We're good up that way.
Yeah. Does it show that they are typing?
No, it doesn't. We don't get that. It
You don't
just
get that.
shows up. Yeah, it just
It's not
shows
like an
up.
iPhone that has like the 3 dots that just kind of keep
Right.
moving.
Correct.
No problem. We do want to give opportunity to have public comment. It has been 3 minutes since they have asked to comment. We are mindful of that. We do want to give just a few more minutes to try to do that. Bay Area RN, are you able to unmute? Are you able to make a comment? Additionally, I am checking
Nope,
my email because I know
they left.
sometimes
They left.
they left the meeting.
Yes.
They might be
left.
trying to sign back in. Let's just give them just a couple minutes. I know, I apologize, board members. I know it's been a long day and board staff it is too, but I want to just make sure that they're not trying to like sign out and sign back in. And that's the whole reason we're here, is to get the public interaction. So I want to make sure that we're mindful of that. I did just check my email. I do not have any new emails that have come in saying that they weren't able to reach out or get public comment. So just want to be mindful of that.
And ultimately, if we're not able to get the commenter on, as I said, if the committee is supportive of this motion, then it's going to go to the full board, where if this person wasn't able to comment today, they'll have a further opportunity. So.
Absolutely. Thank you. Well, it looks like we're not getting any positive action on this. It is close to 5 o'clock. So Tricia, if you want to adjourn at 5 o'clock, that will give
Yes,
them
I
plenty of
would.
time
Okay.
to.
So it's okay to close this window.
It is.
Yes,
There's
yes, thank you very much,
Perfect.
board
No
No
moderator.
problem.
Thank you,
Okay,
guys.
thank you all. We'll go ahead and move to item number 10, which is to adjourn. Thank you for being here.
We
Go
need a
ahead.
vote.
We need to
We-
vote.
we need
We need
vote.
to vote.
We need a
Oh,
vote.
sorry. Yes, you're right. Thank you very
Yep.
much. Okay. Committee Chair Wynn votes aye. Committee Member Lawler
Lawler, yes.
and Committee Member Cormack.
Cormac, yes.
Great. That motion passes.
And now
Let's
we can
adjourn. Yeah. Thank you all.
It's 5
Thanks
o'clock.
for your work. See you
Appreciate
next
it,
time.
guys.
See you
Thank
next
you all.
month.
Bye.
Thank you.
Great.
Have a great evening, everyone.
You
Thank you,
too.
guys.